Hi, everybody. Welcome back to class. I want to work through the Hebrew text of Genesis 6, 1-8 and point out some grammatical features as we go along. Again, if you have questions, you can post them in the comments or in our discussion forum if you're in my OT 502 class. As always, I'll go ahead and read one verse in the Hebrew, and then we will work through the text. Vayhi ki Hechel ha-Adam, larov al penei ha-Adama, banot yuledu lahem. All right, let's go ahead and work through this text here together. Vayhi, this should be getting to be automatic. This is a vav consecutive imperfect, third masculine singular from haya. The past narrative or the vav consecutive imperfect here would be the narratival use. Again, the call here, this is truly just a stated verb. So, and it was, ki, and then we have hahel. Now, this is a trickier verb. This is a hifil from a root where the second and third radicals of the root are the identical letter. So this is from chet lamed lamed. And you may have had some trouble with the translation because you have to go deep into the lexicon. It often means profane, but in this context it means begin. And the key here, it's often a causal particle for or because, but it can also have a temporal import, which it seems to have here. So this looks like it's, and it was when Ha-Adam, humanity, began, and when Ha-Hail means began, it's going to take another root to give its complete meaning here. And so La-Rov is a verb, and this is your infinitive or your infinitive construct from another root with a reduplication in the second and third radical. So this is from resh, bait, bait. If you're having trouble with this type of verb, go ahead and pull out the Cook-Homestead book and look in the appendix and just take a look at the paradigm for roots whose second and third radical are identical. They're the most irregular, and in terms of working through parsing of these types of verbs, if you're trying to sight read, I always say kind of your last guess if you can't figure out the root is, or the form is, guess that it's a reduplicated radical with this, again, the second and third radicals, the root being the same, and that will help you. So, and it was when humanity began to multiply, and we have a prepositional phrase, all penei ha-Adama, upon the face of the earth. So this would be, this is a bound form, showing that this is a genitive. This would be a genitive of possession, the face belonging to the earth. Prepositional phrase, upon the face of the earth. So if you're looking at the prepositional phrase, it's all three words. And benot, this is the plural and feminine, this is the feminine form. We know the word bane is son. Bana is feminine, or bat is feminine. This is the plural form of that. So this is daughters of, or daughters. And here we have a call passive, were begetting to them. So when humanity was spreading out upon the face of the earth, they were, daughters were being born for them. Would be the best way to translate those phrases, and this would be a lamed of advantage for them. And so let's go on to verse 2. Vayir u. Here we have a vav consecutive imperfect from ra'ah, third masculine singular call. And again, notice the third, when we have a third hey verb, that you have apocompation, so you don't see the final consonant, but this is your third masculine plural. So, and they saw, this would be sequential use of the past narrative. So who saw? Well, subject often follows verb, so we see it here. We have the sons of God, the gods. The sons of God, of the gods, or the sons of God. This is a exegetical question that we're not going to really go into detail here. But notice this phrase, it's going to be the sons because Elohim has the definite article, and this makes the entire bound chain or construct chain definite. So the sons of God or the sons of the gods saw et benot. We just saw this word, the dot. Now this is construct form though. Notice the conjunctive accent mark. Remember, feminine plural absolute, feminine plural construct look exactly the same, but in this case, this is going to be a construct chain. So when the sons of God saw the daughters of humanity, and then we have ki tovot hene. This gives the this is one of these clauses where you have it's a content clause. Hene is third feminine plural suffix, and tovot is a feminine plural of the word good. So this could be something like saw what? That they were good, in this case meaning beautiful or attractive. Vayichok, here we have another vav consecutive imperfect. You can tell it's third masculine plural. The root is that irregular verb lachak, took. They took for themselves. Now, who's they? It's the sons of God. That's where third masculine plural. For themselves, wives from kol, from all, or from each one or every one, which bacharu. Here's just a straight up third masculine plural perfect, that they chose. So here we have the sons of God, whoever these persons are, observing the daughters of humanity, the daughters of Adam. So again, the exegetical question is, who are these sons of God? Are these divine beings? Are these words that refers to heroes? Are these just the persons that followed a godly line, say the line of Seth, if you go back to 426? Or in fact, those are the options. And then sons of Adam, are these essentially just the daughters of apostate persons, or are these literally just saying human daughters are mixing with heavenly beings? That's the question. This is the run-up to the flood narrative, and so it looks like there's some kind of improper mixing, which is part of the problem that leads to the spread of sinfulness on the earth that Noah's Ark story is going to deal with. And so they wives for themselves out of all that they chose, and now we have God's response. Adonai, Yahweh, Vayomer, again, third masculine singular, we know this one now, said. We have a third masculine singular imperfect call from middle weak verb dun. My spirit will not remain with Adam, with humanity. Notice we do have the article built in here. Notice the kamatz, that's compensatory lengthening, because for the definite article, la olam, forever. We have a temporal use of the lamed here, and we have this other prepositional phrase. So my spirit will not abide with humanity forever. And then we have, this is a little tricky in this little piece. We have another prepositional phrase. So we have a particle, we have the bait, then we have, this is an unusual form of a relative clause, and then we have gam, in which also he is flesh. Now, this could simply mean some kind of a causal idea, and a lot of our English translations here in verse 3 kind of translate this, for they are flesh. In that also he is flesh. And so, but this is making a statement on the finitude of humanity. So again, this is probably the hardest word here. We have bait, we have gam at the end, and then we have this unusual, or a little bit rarer. Asher is typically the relative pronoun. This is a rarer use, and that you'll see a lot in poetry actually, but this is the particle that also means who, which, or that. It's a sheen, oftentimes with a doubling of the next letter, that he is flesh. And then we have a imperfect with vav consecutive. And so this is going to take on the same force as the previous verb. And we had an imperfect was looking to the future. My spirit will not remain. And yamim, yamiv, his days will be 100 v'asher. And this is a plural. This is the plural form of 10, which means 20. So notice how Hebrew numbers are. You might want to look up the chapter on numbers, on how numbers work. But you basically just kind of add them up. So you have 100, and you have a plural form of 10, and the plural of 10 is 20. So and 120 years. So here we have a limitation placed on humanity. And now, again, the story carries on, and this is kind of interesting. We have this next controversial piece. This is the word the Nephilim, and people debate this, and this is a lot of fun if you want to look up this in commentary. Some people think these are giants. These are the heroes of renown. These are maybe the beings that come from the combination of the sons of God and the daughters of men. And so we just have this almost a parenthetical statement. The Nephilim, Hayu, third masculine plural, perfect call from Haya, were ba'aretz, in the land. Again, notice preposition, giving us a location, and the definite article is here. We see it because of compensatory lengthening. The hey from the definite article elides because of the bait sound, and then you don't get a doubled aleph because it's a guttural, and so you get that vowel, the kamatz. So that is in the land. In bayamim ha'hem. This is a demonstrative in those days. And then we have and v'gam. We just saw gam up here. This is the word for also, and also after thus. And then which, yava'u, third masculine plural, imperfect from a middle weak verb, bo. It's from beit, vav, aleph, which the sons of God will go, or were going to the daughters of man. V'yaledu, and this is a third masculine plural, perfect vav consecutive, and they were bearing for them. They, ha-giburim, were the strong ones, or the mighty ones, which, or who, from olam, from of old, men, the men of renown. And so this is talking about the Nephilim, and they're the combination of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Again, a little choppy here, but notice the language that shows up. Now we're going to get God's response. Verses 4 was the report, so we have this improper mixing. And now, beginning with verse 5, we have vayari. Again, this is a third masculine singular vav imperfect with vav consecutive with imperfect or past narrative. Yahweh saw that, and again, this is going to be what's known as a content clause. It's given, this whole thing functions as the object of ra. Yahweh saw that rava ra'at ha'adam. Great was the wickedness or evil of humanity. So here we have a bound clause, the wickedness, genitive, belonging to humanity in the land. And then we have really this profoundly sad statement about the condition of humanity. This is an indictment, and we'll see this again when we go through the Noah story. So this is kind of the setup for the flood. And every intention, and here we have every intention of the thoughts of his heart. So here, notice the feminine plural sound. This is a long constraint. So all of intention of thoughts of his heart. So all of the intentions of the thoughts of his heart. Rock, this is an adverb, was only ra, kol hayom, all the day, every day. This is a phrase for continually. So look at that. Wow, what a statement. And every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the day. And this is a verbless clause here, but loaded with theological richness. This is one of those statements that John Wesley quotes a lot in his sermon on original sin and such. And this is where you get a doctrine that builds out of this. So what's God's response to this? So God sees this, and sequential past narrative now. So, and by the way, nacham can mean, this is the word where it shows sometimes where it can mean repent, can also mean relent, can mean was sorry, or even comfort. So this is basically Yahweh repented or was sorry. And that's an exegetical question, how to exactly translate that. This is you can see this is a third masculine singular imperfect plus vav consecutive. Nifal. Notice the nifal. We have the doubling of the noon, and we have the kamatz. That's a classic sign of a nifal imperfect or a nifal vav consecutive plus imperfect. Yahweh was sorry, or Yahweh repented that asa, third masculine singular perfect from a third hey verb, that he made ha'adam in the land. Again, here's the next verb. Again, we can see the vav consecutive and perfect. And then, so we know it's third masculine singular, but then notice the tav that's stuck in here. This is an example of something we haven't seen. This is a hithpael. So you're going to get, you don't get the hith, but you get the tav still. The yod pushes out the hey from the htd, from the hithpael. Get a doubled second radical of the root, and this is the classic vowel pattern. So this is a hithpael, vav consecutive imperfect, third masculine singular from this root, and this means grieved. And he grieved to his heart. So he was grieved. So this is talking about God being sad. What's God's response to sin? Again, it's wishing that he hadn't created humanity because it grieves him to the heart. And Vayomer, and Yahweh said, here we have, you can see the first common singular imperfect call from a third hey verb. I will wipe out ha'adam, which or who, bara teeth, first common singular perfect from bara, which I created. And this is the bara term you also see in Genesis 1 over and over again, which I created from upon the face of the earth. From people to animals to creeping things. These are language that you get from Genesis 1, to birds of the heavens. For I have relented, or I am sorry that I made them. Notice this form here. This is from asa. So ayin, sin, hey. This is the first common singular perfect. You don't get the yod in here. That's why they have that that you might have expected. But then you have a third masculine plural suffix. So I have made them. So it's a statement about God being the one that can make this call because, or that I have made them. And then we have the hopeful statement, v'noach. Again, what's that? Well, remember, sometimes if you can't figure a word out, it's a proper name, and that's actually the name Noah. And then this stands in the vav here could be and Noah, but this is probably a little bit of a contrast or disjunctive, so you can translate the vav here as but. But Noah, Masa, third masculine, singular, perfect from matzah, found. Noah found chen, favor, grace. This is the word for grace in the Old Testament. Be ene Adonai, in the eyes of Yahweh. So we have this great indictment of humanity in the first 7 verses, and then we have Noah, which shows that God wasn't acting universally against all people, but that God has a way forward. And this is our first kind of a glimpse of what we will have to call a remnant theology that flows through the Old Testament. Again, that's the first 8 verses, some pointers and some tips. Hope this helps you. If you have other questions, you can post them either in the comments or in our discussion forums for the class. I'm Brian Russell. It's my privilege to be your professor this semester. Thank you for listening.